Alright, so this is the biggest patch that the game has received so far. I'm gonna go over all those super important stuff, and I'll quickly go over the buffs and nerfs. Let's just get into the patch. First of all, Gizmo is coming today. By the time this video goes up, it will probably already be out. I'll probably already be recording a video for Gizmo, so be on the lookout for that. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on it. But we're gonna start with the biggest overall change. In this update, they're pretty much making the hitboxes and hurtboxes match the character models and their animations. As you can see here in this first paragraph, this patch includes our hitbox/hurtbox system overhaul. Our goal with this update is to more tightly tie hitboxes and hurtboxes to our characters' animations. We'll be keeping an eye on how this update affects the player experience, and we are ready to implement additional patches if any problems arise. This will be a process for us to get there, but this is our first step towards truly accurate hitbox/hurtbox detection and gives us a foundation to permanently fixing issues going forward. That includes hurtboxes on every character being updated. This is an example of what they look like. Look at the difference from what the hurtboxes looked like before. I'm assuming this is for every character. And then look at what they're going to look like today with this patch out. The difference is insane. Another huge change this patch, the projectile systems update. Basically what this patch is going to do is going to standardize all projectiles into different categories. There's going to be regular projectiles, which can be destroyed by clinking with another projectile, be reflected, anything like that. And then there's going to be heavy projectiles. Things like Bugs' safe, Bugs' rocket, things like Taz's anvil, things like Jerry whenever he's fired from Tom's neutral special. This isn't going to be the final thing that they do with projectiles and how they interact, not just with each other, but with things like platforms and the stage and individual attacks and everything like that. And as you can see, barriers and buffs that block projectiles more consistently block all projectiles. So I'm assuming that means anything that is supposed to be a projectile block or armor. Think maybe like Garnet's Sing, Wonder Woman's shield. Think maybe like Finn's side special on the ground, Steven's shield. I would assume that's what they're talking about whenever they're talking about barriers and buffs that block projectiles. Another really big change, if any of you guys are on keyboard, directional attacks and specials can now be mapped to specific keyboard keys. I really hope that this also is something you can do on controller, bind certain attacks to certain keys. I'm not sure if it does, but it's basically introducing 8 new inputs, every direction for attack and every direction for special. This is basically going to make it so keyboard players can down air without fast falling. It's going to make it so that way they can pivot aerial without having to do a really like frame perfect input. They can just do, say like on controller, if you wanted to do a pivot aerial, you would just hold the C stick in the opposite direction, unless there's like a specific character that has like a buggy move or something like that. But for the most part, you would just do a C stick in the opposite direction. Or if you wanted to do a down air without fast falling, you would just C stick down. So this is basically going to make it so that way keyboard players can do those types of inputs without having to be mechanically more advanced than somebody who is, say, at the same skill level but plays on a controller. Another, in my opinion, pretty big change right here in the miscellaneous gameplay updates. So they mentioned that they are basically going to try to make it to where all the characters are actually walking on the floor and not in the floor. But that's not what caught my attention. What catches my attention is wall, floor, and ceiling bounces no longer restore dodge meter energy. So right now, or rather before this patch, those bounces were counted as attacks. Since you take damage from them, they counted as attacks, so they refilled your dodge meter the same way as getting attacked or attacking an opponent refills it. And they also fixed the short hop bug where you would short hop an input, an attack, or a special and nothing would happen. That's what this third bullet point right here is. So basically the jump was overriding the attack, like it was canceling the startup frames, and they basically just fixed that. I'll put all the perks on the screen as they come up. Clear the air. Updated description text to explain that the perk only applies to non-heavy projectiles. So clear the air is the perk that if one person on the team, or if you're in 1v1, if one person has it equipped, if you neutral dodge a projectile, it destroys it, and on the stacked, it reflects them. So basically this is just going to clarify that this will only apply to projectiles that aren't things like the safe, Bugs rocket, Jerry, etc. Ice to beat you. Projectiles will only apply ice debuff to fighters that are not already debuffed by ice. This change was already released for online matches, but it will be offline as well. So this is something that you could do online, but you couldn't do in the lab, and now it will be the same way in the lab and at LAN events and things like that. I'll take that, a very, very popular perk. Unstacked cooldown refund decreased from half a second to 0.25 seconds. And stack cooldown refund decreased from 1 second to half a second. This change was already released for online matches. I saw them mention that before, but the description didn't get updated, so I wasn't sure if it was actually in the game or not. But I've been using this lately, and I gotta say, with it, even with it nerfed, it's still pretty good. Make it Reindog. Unstacked projectile speed buff reduced 10% from 20%, and stacked reduced to 20 from 25. So basically, it's a 50% nerf on the unstacked version, which honestly, kind of a good thing, because in this game, if any of you guys watch my Morty guide, you'll remember that I mentioned projectiles in this game are entirely frame data based. So they don't go a certain distance, they go for a certain amount of frames. So whenever a projectile is moving faster, they go farther by default because they last the same amount of time. So basically, this is just making it to where in 1v1s, it's not so overbearing that so many characters have such full stage presence from this perk specifically, at least. Sturdy Dodger fixed an issue where the perk would not stack properly. This is the one where, for those of you that don't know, this perk is the one that gives you armor after you neutral dodge a projectile. So not really a buff or a nerf, just fixing an issue where the stack didn't actually apply. 2v2 tree fort. Trampoline tree health reduced to 15 from 30. So the trees will be broken twice as fast now. Honestly, the trees aren't even my issue with tree fort. It's how small the blast zones are at the bottom and how large they are at the top. And Cromulons 1v1 added a new loading platform to both versions of Crom. I don't know why they specified 1v1, but apparently both versions of the Cromulons map are getting a floating platform, which I like a lot. All right, let's look at these buffs and nerfs. Okay, apparently they completely removed the assassin passive where they took additional damage. I'm a big fan of that. I don't think any passive should be a negative. If they're gonna have class passives and things like that, I don't think any of them should be negative. I think if anything, every passive should be a positive influence to that type of character, or at least neutral. Let's look at her actual changes. Up special. Okay, awesome. So Arya hopefully, no offense Arya players, but Arya hopefully won't be as brain dead as she was during this last patch. Her up special was just free, and now it's going to go back to the way it was, where they'll have to actually follow their opponent's DI, or in this game, KBI. They're actually going to have to follow the way their opponent is holding, instead of just having a free combo no matter what. What else? Okay, a bug fix with Taz. Fix an issue with... Oh, okay. So right here, they got rid of... You could put out Arya's stun in the air and fall with it, and it would still be active the whole time she's moving. You could do it on the grounded version as well. I'm not exactly sure if you could do it while walking or not, but here's an example of that happening. Very, very strong and annoying. I'm really glad that they removed that. So hopefully Arya's in a good spot. We'll see. It depends on how significant the up special change is and how that works in tandem with the hitbox patch in itself. I think she'll probably be fine now. I don't think she'll be nearly as strong as she was. So basically with Batman, they didn't change him too much because of the projectile overhaul that they're doing. There was a bug where battering couldn't be broken by normal projectiles like it used to be able to. So basically, they didn't change too much with Batman because they wanted to see how much that change affected him. So it looks like his dive kick got a knockback angle change, so it doesn't... I'm assuming just so it doesn't spike at every angle that he's kicking, or at least... It might not be as intense of an angle of a spike. With the second hit of air side attack, I'm assuming that if you land the first hit, you'll be able to cancel into the second hit and get that velocity change sooner, is what I'm assuming off that. We'll have to see. Ground down special fixed a bug that was preventing projectile sidestep from dodging all projectiles. Okay, so that's just a bug fix that happens to be good for him. Fixed a bug that was causing first jab. Okay, so they basically just gave him fixes and changed the angle of down special and gave him a very small cider buff. All right, Bugs Bunny. So everybody has known it for a long time. Bugs Bunny is far and away considered the best character in the game, has been for a while. Let's see what these changes are. Okay, so it looks like they actually gave the rocket a purple effect to indicate that it's an armor break. So as you guys probably know, it would go through any armor, go through Steven's shield, Wonder Woman's armor, etc. It would go through all of that, but it didn't have any purple on it. Now it has a purple indicator. They mentioned that it's classified as a heavy projectile now, and apparently, I didn't even know this, apparently Bug's up air that was on cooldown consumed all aerial specials. I didn't even know that. Barriers, buffs that block projectiles now deactivate the safe hitbox until the safe is hit again. That they did not mention that on the rocket, so I'm assuming the rocket will just go through everything except for probably Iron Giant up special, but safe won't. It says the hitbox will be deactivated until the safe's hit again. So that means probably if one, so let's say for example, if you're in a 2v2 and you get hit by the safe while you have a projectile shield, but it goes through you and then would hit your teammate, if your projectile block was up, it sounds like it won't hit your teammate unless somebody else hits the safe before it gets to them again. All right, they changed the land cancel window for his down air and his side air by 2 frames and 3 frames respectively. So basically what that means is that the animation will just end slightly later for him to be grounded again after throwing those out while close to the ground. So it's just gonna hopefully nerf his combo routes just a little bit, even just a little bit, and make him a little bit less safe just throwing stuff out. Up air got less active frames, so that in tandem with the hitbox and hurtbox overhaul hopefully will make his up air actually what it is. And if it's still too strong, then they're, I don't know, gonna have to change the whole animation, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. Lowered his weight by 5 points. That's actually pretty significant. And they made the hitbox active for half the amount of time with the coming through dock perk. I like those changes. We'll see where it puts him. That it sounds like it's not going to be too rough for Bugs players. It sounds like you're still going to have most of your combo routes. They didn't mention any neutral air changes at all, which is really spooky, but we'll see. My boy Finn, let's see what he got. It gave him his starting gold back to the original amount of 200. That's nice. Got rid of the assassin passive altogether, of course, like I mentioned with Arya earlier. Neutral special, fixed an issue with the shockwave. Okay, so this was a really common issue. You would high-five your teammate, and a big circle hitbox is supposed to come out, but sometimes it just wouldn't hit anybody, even if it very clearly should have. Up special, more consistent. You love to see that. People have been falling out of it if it's spaced. Actually, even a lot of the times, if you're next to them, they'll fall out. But we'll see how much that is. It might be crazy like it used to be. It might just be functional now. We'll just have to see. And grounded down attack, increased minimum distance traveled. Okay, nice little buff. And adjusted the vacuum hitbox to more consistently combo into the final hit. So hopefully this means every time you land the first hit, the second hit will land too. I don't know if that's the case. We'll just have to see. But I like where that's going because Finn is in a spot where none of his stats are bad. His hitboxes aren't bad. And if they're as accurate as they look, they still won't be bad with the overhaul. It's just a lot of his moves people fell out of. So I am going to predict all of the really good Finn players are going to win a lot more. They're going to win a lot more than they were before. Another one of my mains, Garnet. What does she get? Oh, thank God. They made it to where if she's singing and a projectile gets bubbled, it will no longer hit you or your teammate if you walk by it. That is such a huge buff. Oh my God. I can't tell you how many times, especially when I'm not playing with somebody I know, if I'm playing with like someone random or playing like not in a voice call or something, I can't tell you how many times I've stopped a projectile and went to reflect it back. Either my teammate runs into it or I misspace the move I'm trying to hit it with and just take damage for it. What else did they do? Ground side special made it faster, so it's going to go a little further. Recovery frames decreased to allow for follow-up combos from the hit. That sounds awesome. I'm very excited to see what kind of stuff people find out of that. And side attack in the air. Side attack 1 on hit cancel window is earlier. Wow, okay, so she's going to have probably some crazy Sayer 1 combos. And it combos better into itself. You love to see that. You love to see hitbox improvement and consistency. What did Harley get? Just a movement speed increase? Okay. We'll see how she does. The only issue with Harley, she's the only character that has proper whiff recovery. So we'll see. Iron Giant. Rage mode reduced gray health to 15 from 30. Thank God. It was so much of a hassle just to get that 30 gray health burned whenever he switched. Either that or you had to camp him out, but if you're camping him out while he's in rage mode, their teammate can just jump into him and pilot him for free and get a free like 60 damage from anywhere on the screen. So that's awesome. All right, and the bolts. Ability and ammo cooldowns are now static cooldowns. Okay, so they're not going to be affected by any perks or buffs or anything like that. I love that. I love that change because Iron Giant Velma, that's too much. It's too crazy. And neutral air got more whiff recovery. Don't know how much, but it got it. Jake's Bite. Okay, if he eats multiple opponents, he'll spit them all out at the same time. Spit no longer counts towards air special count, so he can spit even if he exhausts his air special. That's nice, so he won't SD. Spit opponents are now properly classified as projectiles. Love to see it. So your projectile perks will work if you spit somebody onto their teammate. And weaken stacks applied on hit reduced from 2 to 5. That's fair. 5 stacks is insane. Oh, okay. So they made it to where down special can only be out for 3 seconds instead of being infinite. Okay, I like that change. I like that change a lot. Can no longer hit the same enemy multiple times. I didn't even know it could do that. Maybe when you bounced? I have no idea. I had no idea it could do that. Side air, the big punch. Got more whiff recovery by 6 frames. Love that. Really, really love to see that. Land cancel window delayed to match increased whiff recovery. So this means that if he throws out forward air while he's basically on the ground, but still in the forward air animation, he'll have increased time to land on the ground, similar to the whiff recovery that he was given. On hit cancel, window moved 2 frames earlier, so he can probably do more combos out of forward air now than he used to be able to. Air down attack, damage reduced on the first 2 hits, and the third hit ignite duration reduced to half a second from 1 second. So previously, I think it did 21 damage if you hit all 3, guaranteed. So we'll see how much damage this does now, but 21 is a lot in this game for 1 attack, basically. Like, that's a lot. Think like Morty jab, if you land all 3 hits, does 6 damage. So just think about that for a second. When Jake Downer did 21. So yeah, you love to see that. Hopefully it's not like crazy. Hopefully it does like 15 or something now. LeBron. Down air. Angle is more horizontal. Okay. Enemies can no longer hit the basketball. Okay, that's a win. Basketball will always bounce back when blocked by projectile blocking effects. So it doesn't go away if it hits projectile armor, it just bounces back. Okay, that's really good. That's really, really good for LeBron. Ball ground neutral special. Increase ground pass speed, air version unaffected. It's a really good change. That was very slow. It's super reactable. No ball air side attack. Active frame window moved 3 frames earlier. That's really good because a lot of the times you would see the hand just go through people. So hopefully now it just matches the animation better. Ball ground up attack, hitbox, active frame moved earlier. On hit cancel window moved earlier to allow for more reliable combo follow-ups. I like that change a lot because I would always try to combo off of the up tilt, and I feel like I would drop it so much, so I just had to go for like down tilt, neutral special, jab, neutral special, that kind of thing. So I'm really happy about that because the up attack is really cool, and I would like to be able to use it more. So hopefully this allows for fun follow-ups. And ball ground down attack, cancel window moved earlier. That's actually insane because it already had a really early window. So LeBron might be kind of crazy right now. Morty was given his passive. That means he's about to be a 2v2 monster. Sorry to any of you guys who don't want to play against Morty, but he's about to be really, really good. Air ground neutral special. This is the grenades. Ammo cooldown increased from 13 seconds to 12 seconds. So it just takes a little bit longer for him to refresh the ammo. Knockback scaling increased from 23 to 25, so it'll kill higher percentage opponents earlier now. And grenades can now be knocked back by allied projectiles. Thank God. This says neutral, but that's a huge buff because allied projectiles would blow up the grenades, but now they're just going to be bounced around by them. That's a huge, huge buff. Enemy projectiles will destroy the grenades. That's how it is currently. So that's a huge buff. I don't know why that's put as neutral. That's huge. Maybe because it got a cooldown nerf on top of it, but that's a huge, huge buff. Down special. Fixed issues where Morty or his ally will be randomly pulled back to the save point. This will now only trigger when the ally is near the blast zone. That's how down special should have originally been in the first place, so that's a huge buff, but I understand why they put neutral. It's literally just a bug fix. That's enormous. Air side special. Portal aim reticle now only shows for the Morty player in online matches. Thank you. I was gonna say, if Superman can get a teleport move that you can't see where he comes out of it, Morty's should also have the same properties. So thankfully they have addressed that. That's really, really good for him. He can do a lot of mix-ups now. Air ground neutral attack. So the blaster, fix an issue where the blaster can spawn 2 shots. I didn't even know that was a thing. Knockback direction now based on projectile velocity. I wonder if that means his combos aren't the same. Like, do they still ground bounce? Because if not, that's actually really bad for Morty. But we'll see. And knockback scaling increased. Okay, we'll see how that is. I'll just have to test that out. Ground up attack. Fist an issue where blaster fire 2 shots. Okay, so they had the same issue as the neutral version apparently, and also got the same changes. So the blaster, all the blaster things got the same changes. Grounded side attack. Full jab combo now connects more reliably. I don't know if that means it's always true, but hopefully it means it's at least true at low percents, because that's really annoying having a jab on a bruiser that doesn't combo. That's very annoying. Maybe they'll even change him to... Maybe they'll change his tag from bruiser to support or something. And extra Fleeb Juice now cleans up Tom and Jerry Mousetrap and Garnet's Electric Zone. Okay, that's nice. I thought it did clean up the Mousetrap. So, but that's nice. Really good buffs from Morty. Reindog. I'm surprised they got buffed. Neutral attack, enemies can no longer hit the spit projectile. I didn't know that they could hit it. I knew you could hit it with another projectile. Okay, that's good for Reindog. And up air vacuum knockback applied to the first hit to help the 2 hits chain together more reliably. Reindog players, I know there's not that many of you, but hey, look at that. Your up air will work now. That's awesome. And ground neutral attack, holding down and dodging no longer cancels into the next attack as quickly to prevent extremely rapid firing of the projectile attack. I love that. Thank you, player first. Thank you. Shaggy. Rage down special, super sandwich, now classified as heavy projectile. Okay. Side special, bug fix correctly branches to other hits on hit for non-rage side specials. Huh? I don't know what that means. Sorry, guys. Ground down attack, armor removed from the attack. Thank you, an armor break attack does not need armor itself. And knockback angle push to be more horizontal. Hopefully that means no more stomp down air, stomp down air, stomp down air. And his weight lowered by 8 points. Oh, yes, that's such a good change. Ground up special. The wording of that is pretty confusing. What I think they might mean is up special into up special, because that can kill absurdly low. I don't know. I'll have to check. Steven only got 1 change. After spawning 2 shields with his up special, he must land on solid ground before he can spawn more shields with his up special. That's a huge nerf to Steven, but not one that matters if they weren't camping off stage the whole game. So I like the change. That's really big. Superman fixed a bug where he could grab the enemies from far away as they bounced off walls and later start up on active hit frames. Any nerf to up special, I'm about. Side special fixed a bug where he could grab enemies from far away as they bounced off walls. I didn't know he could do that with side. I knew he could do it with up special. I did not know he could do that with side special. And flight speed is reduced after Superman grabs an enemy, so it won't carry enemies as far. This means hopefully no more dying from not even off stage. Hopefully no more dying off the side at 0 to getting grabbed on stage. Not that you would die from the side special on most maps, but you can combo out a side special. So we'll see. Laser now has ammo. Okay, I like that change because he could just do that the whole game. Ground down attack, less active frames, and ground up attack, hitbox adjusted so it no longer hits behind him. I don't know why they mentioned that because I would assume they would just, with the overhaul, just make it accurate to the animation. Interesting that they included that. Maybe it's like way different. I don't know. We'll have to see. Taz. This man got a skin change. Max tasty stacks increased to 18 from 16, so you need more hits to get it. But the chicken itself is slower now. Chicken maximum health reduced to 15 from 30. I don't know what that means. The chicken that you get turned into, or the chicken that comes off of somebody who's turned into a chicken. I'm not sure what this is referencing. Chicken duration reduced to 6 seconds from 8. Okay, so it's harder to apply it, but they're slower and it lasts for less time. Okay, in a 2v2 setting, that's really good for Taz, and in a 1v1 setting, that's a little bit bad for Taz. But if you get 18 hits on somebody, yeah, no, they kind of deserve to die. So hopefully, the movement speed being reduced to 1200 matters enough for him to get kills off of that in 1v1s. Because you could just kind of camp him out with the chicken for the most part. So we'll see. That sounds like a good change, but we'll like with most of this stuff, we'll just have to see. Neutral special. Taz can now eat and spit Bugs' safe, Rocket, and Shaggy super sandwich. Like spit, like reflect? Because that's huge. Eating an enemy in the air will now apply 2 weakened stacks. Being able to eat the heavy projectiles and spit them out, other than Jerry, it looks like. That is huge. Tornado, on cooldown tornado, duration increased to... Okay, so it just lasts longer. Down special recovery frames decreased to allow for better follow-up combos. That's nice. And let's see, Anvil classified as heavy, fixed issues with his item throw animation. And the dog pile perk got a nerf to where the ally can only enter it once. Okay. Jerry no longer hits enemies immediately after the rocket explodes with up special. Damage compensated. So I'm guessing the rocket just does more damage, but Jerry doesn't hit them when he falls now. He's a heavy projectile. No longer refreshes his cooldown if he dies while attached to an ally. I didn't even know that was a thing. That's broken as f. I didn't even know that. I'm really glad that that's changed. Reduce cork ammo from 2 to 3. Cork ammo while attached to ally is unchanged. Just makes it where he's not controlling that space for as long. Air shot attack added 3 frames of recovery. I don't know if that's with recovery or in general. Sounds like in general. And land cancel window delayed 7 frames. Oh, you love that. Especially because he could just shoot out Jerry and cover a huge amount of space and just pick him back up and do it again. You love that. Basically the same thing with down air, except land cancel is delayed by 3 frames. Ground side attack, jab 1 hitbox, active frame window, move 2 frames later. Dynamite split signature perk. Split dynamite sticks now detonate when they hit terrain. Ooh, that's a big nerf actually. That's a huge nerf actually. Wow. I'm all for it, but wow. Velma, passive, instead of calling the police, she now solves the mystery and calls the Mystery Inc. gang. Yes, okay. No more snitching. She gonna call the squad on you now. Air up special no longer applies weekend. That's amazing considering how it's literally her best combo starter. So thank you for that once again. Air ground neutral attack no longer heals Velma when she hits an ally. Yes, that's such a good change. She was getting 12 free health. 12! If her teammate was the one that was targeted. That's a great change. She made her a little slower and a little bit lighter. She's still going to be very, very good. Guarantee you. And finally, Wonder Woman. Lasso is no longer classified as a projectile, so the only projectile she technically has now is down attack. Speaking of which, it no longer breaks projectiles while charging. I like that a lot. I think it should be more skill-based, like timing the release of it. She got her weight nerfed from 76 to 71. Not the biggest change, but she definitely needs it. She's a little too heavy, especially for how strong she is, and especially for how fast she was. But they nerfed her by 25 units. I don't know exactly how fast that is. Velma got 100 units nerfed. Harley got 50 units buffed. We'll see. Overall, these look like solid changes. The hitbox and herbox changes and projectile overhauls. Definitely the biggest changes and will have the most impact. So I'm very excited to play today. Gizmo video probably out by Monday, if not sooner, hopefully. I'll try to bust my ass off and get it done. We'll see. I'm going to go to a local tournament tomorrow, but I'm going by myself, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to record anything from it. I'll let you guys know how I do. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoy this patch. And I'll see y'all very soon.